I'm not going to say a single word about the Tennessee Titans record against the Indianapolis Colts because I was a punter, and there's no reason for me to talk about that. With that being said, we did not punt much against the Tennessee Titans, so you probably have no clue who I am to begin.
Look, I'm unstoppable. Forget your defense, nothing but an obstacle. Run it back, switch it up, call it audible. Serving up them Hail Marys till the game over with the showstopper. So hot, you gotta blow on it. I said I'll huff and I'll puff, then I'll pass to my left while I'm looking to my right. Hit them right in the chest. It be looking like magic. Better give me the throne. I ain't talking about Patrick, but I rep my home. I'm never at the end of my zone. I'm bad to the bone. Eating up these pig skins like they chicharrones. And you a douche cabron. Mira, mira at the mirror on the wall. I'm the greatest of them all. They gon' put me in the hall. Your name is only written in a bathroom stall. Quit your stalling and make a play. My drive too long. Pop the clutch, I don't pump the brakes. I know what it takes to gain the muscle, get rugged. These butterfingers be fumbling. Squash the scrimmage and rub it in Robitussin. How I give them concussion. They seeing double, they rushing and pass the shovel. The dirt and rubble, I bury them under it. Stay in your huddle and get 10 yards back. Never turn your back. I'ma pull your flag. I go full contact. Out punch, out kick like a shotgun.
Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. I don't know if you can see it on our faces, but we're actually pretty happy. And you'll see why in a few minutes.
Hell yeah, God damn
it. It's a very, very strange feeling, but you know what? We know exactly why we're riding a little high right now. Not because of what was done in what people would say garbage time. But you know what? Just a good overall thing. But let's get into it. Let's get into it. Welcome back to the Horseshoe Mob podcast, where we're going over everything Colts and possibly slandering some Titans. By the way, shout out to Hellman's for having Will Levis as a sponsor. We knew it was going to happen eventually, but it's the Tighten Up way, right? But either way, welcome back. And before we get into everything, let's just go ahead and just get into introducing these esteemed gentlemen. All right. So we have with us the man who, despite what other people think, I believe has exceptional reading skills. We have with us the man of few words, Austin Cook, everybody.
What's up? I'm Austin. I read at a good level.
Yes, he does. Yes, he does. I mean, he lives in Tennessee. It doesn't mean he reads on like a Tennessee-ish level. So, whatever. He's originally from Ohio. But we have with us the man who I'm gonna say it's just like very, very esteemed gentleman that you know what? I think he gets a bad rap. And I mean,
I love it though.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like he's cool with it. If he's cool with it, I'm cool with it. So, I mean, it's okay. But we have with us Josh and everybody.
Just want everybody, and the only reason I got a bad rep because of Austin can read, but he didn't read the score. He didn't read the score from Saturday after he lost to Florida.
God, that's a low blow. That's a low blow.
Hey, the more they lose up until we play them, I'm gonna keep going.
You know what? That's rude. That was rude. That was rude of you. That's a low blow. That's a low blow.
I had to sit all last year. Yeah, I had to sit through that. Y'all kept trolling me how y'all then pull the goalpost down after y'all beat us in 15 years. That is my payback.
Nah, that's wrong. That's wrong. We're supposed to be cool, man. We're supposed to be cool.
We are.
But you know what? Let's just get into this, because you know what? When it comes to NBA and when it comes to college stuff, you like to. You like to just low blows. Oh, you know what, Josh? You know what?
I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry.
No, you're not. No, you're not.
Okay,
Don't lie to me.
Okay.
Don't lie to me.
Okay, I want to be sorry. My teachers ought to be sorry.
No, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't put this on anybody else, okay? All right. So before we get into everything, first off, make sure you are visiting www.fanbattlesports.com, where you'll be able to see all the Fan Battle Sports Network exclusives. You can see the articles written by yours truly, Josh Senior, Austin has one coming up, only because of the fact that he has to prove to VT that he not only can read, but he can write as well. So, yes, you'll see that coming soon. All right. And then you'll see past episodes. You'll see the links to Spreaker. Everything that you need via Colts is going to be on www.fanbattlesports.com. So make sure that you are subscribing, you're liking, and yeah, just tune in. And then, let's just get into football. And before we go and we start talking about our game, we have to talk about last night's game. Nick Chubb suffered a very, very bad injury with his leg. I'm not going to play the video or show pictures of it because, I mean, I'm sure we've all seen it. And even then, it's just like it looked really bad. Definitely want to say praise up for Nick Chubb because that's a tough one. I don't know whether he'll play again or not, but at the same time, I mean, does it really matter when you're talking about somebody's actual health outside of the game? So, let's just say just definitely hoping for a full recovery for him. And yeah, that was rough. That was rough to watch.
It was, and also it was rough, as all of us Colts fans, it was rough to see Frank Wright go 0-2 again. So I want to shout out to him, my prayers with him.
Josh, what is happening right now? What are we doing? What are we doing right now? Okay,
I'm chopping wood.
That
climbing mountains. Whatever.
No, I'm clicking mute. I'm muting you. I'm not having it. Okay, it's too early. It's too early into this process for this. Okay, I'm just trying to listen. I don't know what's going on, but you are on one this evening, sir. So you need to relax. Like you need to relax. All right, we're gonna try this again. We're gonna try this again.
All right.
But already we have some comments coming in. So Ashley Hall says, hi, what's going on, Ashley?
That's good.
Then we have, Tesmer, how's it going, buddy? He said, hey, all, and it's been forever since I joined you guys. Yes, Tesmer, we miss you. We miss you and all your witty banter and how you just seem to just irritate the lives of all Titans fans everywhere. So, yes, absolutely glad to see you back, buddy. And looking thinner, too. He's been really on his health kick, and he's lost a lot of weight. So, big shout out to that. Chopping wood. Jesus Christ. I thought we got over that. But however, he did hit us with a Frank Reich-ism where he just said it's just like, we're not that far away. We're just like as soon as I heard that, I'm just like it was like the Chihuahua with like the whole Vietnam helicopter going in the background. It's just like I'm not trying to relive that, okay? But you know what? No, why I didn't want to relive that? Because we're living in current times. And in current times, we had a game versus the Texans. And you know what? I'm not going to just go ahead and just jump into Austin. Start us off, man. How did this game start? And just tell us how the game progressed.
Yeah, so it started almost rough. Michael Pittman fumbled, but it went out of bounds. So it was all good. The rest of that drive went really smooth.
Mm-hmm.
Touchdown from AR, 18-yard rushing touchdown. And then defense, came in, forced a fumble. You were getting pressure. Texans had a hurt O-line, so they took advantage of that, as they should.
Yeah.
Forced a fumble. Then the next play, AR scored again. And then he came out with a concussion after throwing a ball with his left hand out of bounds.
Which, I mean, honestly, I was like, I don't know how you throw a ball with your left hand out of bounds, but honestly, I don't think a concussion is going to make it seem as though there's something wrong with that. But I mean, okay, if you say so, sir. Like,
he may have got confused. I don't know.
Yeah, but I mean, it was a hell of a play. I'm just watching. Like, I didn't realize he threw it with the left hand until the announcer said that. Yeah, he just threw it away with his left hand. It's like, wait, he did just throw it away with his left hand.
As long as he's not making dumb decisions like we saw in the past by some other quarterback, I'm okay with it.
This is also true.
But yeah, I mean, Gardner Minshew came in. We won't get too far into the details, but he did a good job. Coming in and taking over. It was never really a close game after we scored 2 quick touchdowns.
Yeah, and so And thank you for that, because I was just I'm gonna say, so Josh, once we saw like Gardner Minshew came in, it's just like the tone of the game just kind of shifted a little bit. But what did you see from that made you believe that this game was just like out of reach for Houston?
It's pretty much we spotted Gardner 14 points, and he just took it to the house. He just took it home for us. It was never any doubt. Like I said, he added that touchdown before halftime, which of course they had to review it because it was under a minute or 2 minutes.
Yeah.
And it was, I thought he didn't get it because I thought the time was gonna run out. I was like, he's an idiot, but I didn't say it to nobody. I kept it to myself. But it was an excellent play by him, stretching that ball out to the power line. But after halftime, they didn't score. They didn't score maybe 3 points at the half, which I'm a little worried. But I wasn't. I still wasn't. It wasn't any doubt that the Texans would come back because they couldn't get anything going. I mean, CJ, they kept going 3 and out.
Yeah. Yeah, and you know what? They did end up like dealing with a lot of 3 and out action. I think the crazy thing was that even after all 3 and outs that they had, they were actually able to string some drives together a little bit later
Right.
in the game.
Well, see, the one they did to begin the fourth quarter, where they scored a touchdown that was called back. They celebrated.
Yeah. And Quiddy told them to pipe down.
Yeah, pipe down, and then rightfully so because they missed a field goal and they didn't score at all.
Yeah.
And so we got the ball back, and basically the fourth quarter was us just running more clock down, milking that clock. Whatever they do, cool. We're gonna keep when we get the ball back, we're gonna milk the clock. Take 2 minutes off here and there. And so when they get the ball back, if they do score, they got less time, which it worked out. They did have time of possession, but they didn't win because they didn't have more points than us. They were down 11 at that point. Like I said, it was never any doubt. They were saying, well, if we get that field goal, we'll be down 8. Well, you didn't get it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and there was a lot of those what ifs because, like I said, we generally, talk to a lot of Texans fans. So, the overall theme for them was that, oh well, they had an opportunity to come back, or there were still chances for them to come back, and it was I get it, but at the same time, it's like once you go up by a certain amount, then you pretty much have to fight back. But I think the one thing that was very, very underrated was how Shane Steichen really just kind of managed the game all the way up until making them take the timeout when they needed to have that timeout in their back pocket, especially being down 2 scores.
I do want to elaborate on that because I don't know if you saw it, but me and Austin saw it. They saying that he was scared of the Texans offense, so that's why he called a timeout. I was like, that's bullshit. He forced that timeout on purpose. He was never scared.
So the thing is that right there is a way for you to make sure that you're putting your team in the best position. Because the thing is, it's not being scared of the Texans offense, but the thing is also knowing that, if you have all of your timeouts going into a game where you're only down 2 scores, that's all those timeouts are crucial. Because then the other thing is that you also are going to pretty much manage to keep people in bounds, which means that you're going to continue to run down the clock. But the thing is, you have one less to worry about. You have one less timeout to work with. That means that now you know for a fact that you're going to have to be more strategic about it, almost to the point where it kind of gets you to overthink. So I don't think it was nothing. I don't think it was ever anything to necessarily. And I'm not going to say like, the Texans are trash and this, that. But the thing is, it was also a move that was done in a way to make sure that, to me personally, the Texans were at a disadvantage by losing that timeout, but then also had to overthink about how to make sure that they're conserving as much time as possible while trying to score as quickly as possible. Because the thing is, it's kind of like you're trying to be aggressive and conservative at the same time, and it just doesn't work out the way that you would like it to in that case.
Right. That's why the time of possession were in their hands, in their favor. They had the most. They had the time of possession because it was on their side. Even though it was on our side because we had all our timeouts. They only had 2 left. So like you said, they scored. They got to go for an onside kick to get the ball back.
Yeah. Well, the other thing was, the Texans, they had longer time of possession than us. We had 25 minutes the whole entire game, or 25:02. They had 34:58. So they almost had 10 more minutes of time of possession than we did, but it was just a simple fact that there were a lot of times where they're driving downfield and the team is either, forcing sacks in the backfield or just making sure that they're, taking opportunities away from the Texans offense. I mean, I still want to say kudos to CJ Stroud. The Texans got a dog, but he definitely was not in a great position.
Garbage time stats.
Listen.
You was leaning towards that. You was leaning towards it.
I'm not. No. I'm not.
He's not suck, but he don't suck. He don't suck. I know.
No. So the thing is, I'm not gonna say garbage time stats because the thing is, if you still have an opportunity going into the fourth quarter, because we've seen teams go and just like manage to just reel off like 21 straight in the fourth quarter, and that's fine because then it doesn't become a garbage time. It becomes you trying to do that. It just so happens that certain people just were upset by the fact that we were using garbage time because garbage time alludes to the fact that you might be calling somebody's team garbage.
32, 10, and 1 says that. I don't got to say that.
You just said it. You say you don't have to say it, but then you say it. Like what like
because the head says that we triple our wins against them. Like you saw the stat.
I did.
Houston only won 2 games at home in the past, I think, 3 seasons.
No. It's been more than that. I think I think it said that they are
a 217 at home.
217-1. 217-1 at home.
Yeah, 217-1 at home. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's not good. It's bad. It's real bad. It might be 3 years, but I don't know. I thought it was a division stat, but either way.
It don't matter. They're garbage.
Listen, y'all relax, okay? The thing is, I saved this type of heat for the Titans. The Texans I don't really have a problem with. I mean, VT gets a little crazy, but that's VT.
The Titans want to tank though. They don't care. They want to tank. They'll occasionally celebrate a win against the Chargers, but they really want to lose.
Well, yeah, because they want Caleb. They want Caleb Williams.
Yeah. The Texans said that you've been in the spaces, you've been in the chat. They said that they're going to be second in the division. Yes.
Uh-oh. Well, there we go.
They said Texans fans have been saying that they're going to be second and the Colts going to be last with 3 wins.
I mean, yeah. They did say that, but at the same time, like I said, I think the thing that makes them believe they'll be worse than that is the rest of the team. The thing that makes them believe that they could possibly be better than that is CJ Stroud. But, I mean, they have a lot to work on, especially with, like, Dameon Pierce, because I think he went 15 for 31. And then, CJ Stroud is going to be able to throw. But, I mean, my man is already up to 91 attempts in 2 games.
And 11 sacks.
Yeah.
And a hurt shoulder.
And a hurt, yeah.
They're not doing a good job protecting them. Right.
Yeah.
I mean, what's their cap space? I don't know the cap space. I know they had a lot of cap going into the season.
No, they had a decent amount, I believe. But, I mean, I think that they will because technically, if you're not paying a quarterback, your cap space is generally, like, really good. That's why a lot of these teams now, like the Chargers, the Bengals, they're going to be trying to figure out how to fit certain people into the mix because now, it's going to be a little bit tougher for people to be signed when your quarterback is making over $55 million a year. So, yeah. But moving on. In the same game, of course, though, what was most surprising about this game? And it could be anything. It could be on the Colts side. It could be the Texans side. What was the most surprising thing about this game?
Well, for me, I don't want to say surprise. Well, yeah, the sacks. the sack amount is surprising because I can't remember the last time we had that many. And if it was, it probably was against the Texans. But 6 sacks in a game, that's impressive. Because I mean, last year, I think we didn't have. I think we had like maybe 30 or 40 sacks the whole year. But you have, the amount of sacks already. I think we have 12 sacks in 2 games, which is impressive already. So, I'm sort of like Gus Bradley defense. I mean, we always say that hey, he's not getting enough pressure. He's not blitzing a lot. But it seemed like these first 2 games, he's getting after this quarterback.
Yeah. Yeah, he absolutely is. And I mean, it's, to have 8 sacks through the first 2 games. And I mean, right now it's just like pace wise, you're talking about a D line that if you kind of stay consistent with those numbers, I mean, you're averaging 4 sacks a week, but between the first 2 weeks, of course. And it's a long season, so anything could change. But I mean, by the end of the season, that means that you're potentially looking at 68 sacks, which I mean, for as far as the defense goes, 68 means that everybody's eating very, very well. But like I said, that's if they're doing that consistently every single game. There's a lot of attrition and things that go into it over the season. So, like I said, we're just hoping for healthy and productive. But
Yep.
so, and then Austin, what about you? What was the most surprising thing about this game for you?
I got to give props to the O line. I was impressed
Yeah.
by the O line. Allowing 0 sacks after struggling week 1 to bounce back like that was great. I believe Ryan Kelly was the highest rated center in the NFL, and I want to
Yes.
say Will
Yes.
Fries was maybe up there for right guard as well.
Will Fries had a 90.2 grade on PFF. So do with that information what you will. But I believe
But
he
that's why
was
we
one
didn't
of
get
the top
Dawson Rouser.
15. Yeah, he was one of the top 15 players for this week.
Yeah, but like as a whole, it might have been because we had Moss. Moss helped out a lot with the run game, but they stepped up huge from week 1 to week 2.
Yeah. No, absolutely. And that's the reason why I'm gonna say, and just talking about, let's just say, just talking about the trenches, the D line producing the way that they have over the last 2 weeks, and the O line producing the way they did from last week to this week, or improving the way they did from week 1 to week 2, is very surprising. And I think the most I want to say, it's just like, for me, I was gonna say O line, but Josh, you made a good point with the D line. So like I said, I'm just gonna say trenches, because this was an O line last year that was awful. And I mean, it was awful with, I'm going to say, some of the same cast. So, I mean, I think this system also helps with what's going on. And then now, I didn't know how well Samson Ibukum was going to be coming into this season, because I know like his run defense is more so what he was known for. And they say pass defense was a little bit but he's actually been making a lot of contributions and been pretty consistent in the passing game as well. So for him to be able to come in and disrupt the pass, and then Quiddy coming in and disrupting the pass as well, the way that he did with, of course, the and I love it when Shad said this, but Grover the guard butcher, that was amazing. So yeah, no, that's awesome. I mean, Buckner, he's having a great year. I mean, so far it's going really well. Now,
Also, Deo, you can't forget Deo. He
Deo,
stepped
yes,
in and played
yes,
well as well.
Deo. I mean, even Jacob Martin, who used to play on the Texans, came in and got a sack on CJ. So I mean, we're like, this is a front that, and once again, it's just like it's going to be multiple questions of consistency, but I mean, to have those contributions is no small feat. But that kind of leads me to my next question, right? Because we know that the Texans, just being honest, they were missing starters on offense. They didn't have Tunsil out there. They had some guys who were, I think Jalen Petrie was out. They had a couple guys that weren't there. Now, mind you, just kind of flipping over to the other side, we lost the AR. I'm going to say in the second quarter, so Gardner Minshew came in. So, you could say there was backups in crucial spots on both sides. But how do we measure how successful this team was able to be knowing what we know about the Texans in terms of like their state, like injuries, things like that? And I'll start with you, Austin. Like, how do we measure the way that this team is, when going against, let's just say, other teams? Because, we have Baltimore next week. So it's just like, are we going into it with the same optimism? Like, yes, this team, if this team does what they did last Sunday, then we'll be fantastic. Or are we saying, well, they work a little bit beat up, so we got to pick and choose our spots with that one? Like, how do you feel about that in particular?
Yeah. So I mean, obviously, we all know the Texans have been injured. They were
Hmm.
hurt. But we did what we needed to do. We played well. We looked well. If we
Yeah.
would have went and it would have been a close game against the hurt Texans team, and whether we won or lost, and it was close, I would have been a little nervous. But we took care of business, so that gives me like some hope that we have took some steps forward
Yeah.
already, and it's only week 2. I'm not saying we're gonna go win 12 games. Uh, I'm just saying we're taking the steps forward that we need. Can we beat the Ravens? I think we can. Will we? I don't know. It will be a rough game.
Gotcha. Okay. What about you, Josh?
I mean, I saw the signs of a good team um, week 1, and I also saw week 2. Will it amount to 9 wins? Don't know. But like I said, I've been saying all season that we see a team gonna make plays, and we've seen it the first 2 weeks. This team in the first 2 weeks looked better than the team last year of the whole year.
Yeah.
And I can go on a limb and say that. Like I said, you see the run game, we gotta get that going, and hopefully week 5 we'll see a different run game. But
Yeah.
I like where we at with Zach Moss. Pass rush, I like that. Secondary, I'm a little worried. I mean, I know you guys worry as well because the secondary
Yeah.
keep getting cooked. So it's concerns for me. O line, I know the first game of the season we was a little worried. We questioned what was going on, but then week 2 when they had a monster at with Will Anderson and they didn't do anything. He didn't do anything.
Yeah.
And the whole D line didn't do anything, and so they only they had no sacks. So and I like our offense. It's a way different offense. You see Sunday that the ball was spread around to different receivers versus
Yeah.
against Jacksonville, it was only one receiver had a lot of yards. So I mean, there's a lot of optimism there. Like Austin said, can we can be any team. We can. We play like we played Sunday,
Yeah.
minus the injuries, people use excuses on. I mean, we can be anybody, but can we do it? It's yet to be determined because we got to go out there and play the game and get the results afterwards.
Yeah. Yeah, and I agree because we went against a Texans team that was still able to to string together drives, right? Where, we know that the secondary is kind of a mess. I think I said this week, I'm really just hoping that this right now isn't looking like the whole Daryl Baker decision isn't looking Matt Pryor-ish. Because honestly, we were sold that bill of goods when it came to Matt Pryor last year. And then, it was just bad all season. And then Baker, not had a good time in coverage in man or zone and kind of looked out of place over the last few games. So I'm hoping that it's not. But I mean, as far as it goes right now, I am just really hoping that this doesn't end up being exactly what we think it is, where it's just like, okay, yeah, we had a good game, and then we go into Baltimore. I know what Baltimore did with Houston week 1, but once again, it's just like this is a Baltimore team that, of course, we do have a lot of history with, and that we have played numerous times over the years.
Been close games.
Yeah, of course. And so, um, and now as far as the the actual team goes, because like I said, I know that we talked about measuring the current state, but I want to talk about the team as a whole because we had a chance to see a lot of firsts. But I mean, I'll let you guys just go ahead and take one. Who were your favorite breakout players for this particular game? I'll start with you, Josue.
I mean, you mentioned Samson, which, like I said, we didn't know who he was coming in. We knew he was a rotational guy with the Niners, but Ballard loves those guys that are discount. But he seems to get his money worth. Will Mallory. I mean, I've said in offseason that he can be a difference maker, just like Ogletree, and he has. He stepped in. Ogletree was a healthy scratch due to concussion last game, and he stepped in with that big 46-yard catch. It's a big dude. He was tough to tackle, man. He was tough to tackle to bring down to on the field. He was a good blocker as well. Zach Moss, we knew what Zach Moss could do versus the same team because last year
breakout player, sir. Breakout player. Jesus Christ! I mean, you're just gonna take all of them, huh?
Oh, you said players. You did say players though.
Yeah. Well, who was your favorite breakout player from this game?
Give me Will Mallory.
Will Mallory? Okay.
Yeah.
What about you, Austin?
I'm gonna take Zach Moss, just because it was completely different from week 1 to week 2 in the run game. It was just a breath of fresh air.
Yeah. So you know what? I'm also gonna go with Zach Moss, and that's only because of the fact that, if I'm being completely honest, I didn't have any hope for Zach Moss in this one because of the fact that I wasn't high on Zach Moss. I know that he's like a power guy. I know that there were a couple runs that were just like, "Sir, where are you going?" There's clearly there's a gateway right there, and you're running into the gate. Like, it's just like there were opportunities, but I mean, rushing 18 times for 88 yards and getting a TD was no small feat. So he made me eat crow. So yeah, I'm gonna go with Zach Moss on that one. You know what? And I think let's go, because I think we only mentioned offense like that, right? Let's talk about defense. And I'll kick this one off. I liked what EJ Speed did. I think EJ Speed has been low-key having a good, beginning to his season, with him being able to force turnovers, just kind of get to the spots, him being able to basically just come in on blitzes and just do a lot of things. Like, he's showing a lot of versatility. And he's another guy that I didn't know exactly how it was going to be. I was screaming that we need another linebacker all offseason because I wasn't sure what he was going to do. So he's another one who made me eat crow, which I'm completely okay with. Okay, I'd rather you do very good than very bad and prove me right. So, yes, fantastic. Now, what about you, Josh?
Just not a breakout player, but, man, Zaire Franklin, I think he's leading the NFL in tackles right now, which I think 20, or over 20. That's very impressive. That guy is a tackling machine. Right now, he's a leader on our defense. That guy is a baller. He is a ball hawk. He tackles whoever has the ball. It might be the referee next.
Yeah, and you know what? Hey, actually, he is leading the NFL. He is leading the NFL with 30 tackles on the season.
Okay, yeah. So I was off. Yeah, way off. I saw the stat that he is leading, but I didn't know the exact amount. I think Dustin said, but I didn't get the amount. But yeah, he's leading. I think 18 in one game.
Yeah, he had 18 against the Jags last week, and then I think he had 12 total this week.
So what you're saying is another drug test?
I mean, listen. He only had 12 this week, so do with that information what you will. Okay, so yeah. And then what about you, Austin?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna it's not a breakout player per se, but I just love seeing Kwity Paye healthy and doing what he does best, getting to the quarterback. He has 2 sacks in 2 games.
Yeah,
I've just been a big Kwity Paye fan since we drafted him. So
yeah, and it's good to see him because also it's just like this is a big year for him. So not being able to, I mean, really just get out there and do what we know that he's capable of is I think that's a huge thing. So like I said, I'm very happy with what he's done so far too. I think it's more so it's just I think he's finally kind of living up to that billing that he has, where he's a first round pick, and we know that he's a first round pick. I think it's just going to be once again just a matter of him just staying healthy. As long as he can stay healthy, then I mean, sky's the limit.
What's wrong with Dayo? Man, Dayo, I'm not Dayo. Dayo, I think he had like 4 outsides Sunday.
Well, I mean, I think
on?
there were a couple where it's just like kind of got the best of him. I think there was one that was on the offensive lineman, but they ended up calling it on him. But either way, I mean, like I said, he's somebody who's finally getting healthy and is able to play. And yeah, he's yeah. And you know what? I'm gonna go with this one. There's a comment here. He said, "I'm a Titans fan and picked Moss up to play in my flex and fantasy. How did I have more faith in him than you?" He was in probably one of the he's in one of the systems that, I mean, you could pretty much just plug any running back into. But when Josh Allen is the leading rusher in Buffalo, I'm gonna question that. I'm really gonna question that at the end of the day. So I mean, like I said, I'm glad. Once again, I'm glad he proved me wrong. But you know what? So sue me. It is what it is. Oh well, tomato, potato. But yeah, so so with that being said, so now big game coming up this week. This is our first out of division game where we'll be playing against the Baltimore Ravens. And I'm going to say it's just like the Ravens right now, we're 2-0, we're 1-1. What do we think are some of the keys to making sure that not only do we stay in this game, but also make sure that we go into this game and make this a winnable game? And I'll start with you, Austin.
Yeah, so obviously contain Lamar, don't let him run around. And just our secondary needs to have a better game than they did last game.
Yeah, absolutely. Josh, what about you?
Yeah, like Austin said, man, we got to stop the guy that's he multifaceted. He can pass, he can run. It's hard to tackle the guy. I mean, he ain't the same Lamar 3 years ago, but he can still got that pocket and make plays with his legs. So he's definitely dangerous. Contain Mark Andrews. He's one of his biggest targets. I'm not sure what Zay Flowers have done so far this year because I don't watch Ravens games. And Odell Bell been hurt both games, so I don't know if he's going to play Sunday. But if Odell's playing and Zay Flowers gets going, it's going to be a problem for our secondary because I mean they've been letting everybody cook actually all year. So we got to contain those guys, and we can get we got to get better play from the secondary. I don't care what's going on in the front seven, but those guys in the back has to defend better, man. He has to defend better, and one way to start is against the team that hate us.
Yeah. But you know what? I think this is also going to be a huge test because I mean, I think the Ravens right now they're top 10 in rushing offense. But their passing offense is I'm going to say probably middle of the road. I think they're probably like fifth. I think they're like 15th or 16th. So I mean, I think it's a different type of scenario if you're able to kind of slow down what it is that they're trying to do, because this is also a Baltimore team that generally is just very good defensively. But, I think their secondary is probably extremely beat up, but they're still finding ways to make sure that they're limiting. So I think it's just going to be ultimately just like playing our game. I can see if AR does play, then I can see them trying to go ahead and just like kind of fake him a little bit, try to make sure like get him into certain pockets and make him play the game that they want him to play rather than playing his own game. So honestly, it's just going to be, I think it's just going to be making sure like whoever holds onto the ball the most at the end of the game, or whoever is able to really control the clock, is going to be the team that actually comes away with the win. So with that being said, Austin, what do you think the score is going to be? How does the team come out? We talking about big dubs or big L's?
We're going big dubs, 21-20.
Damn, that's a close dub. That's a very close dub. All right, what about you, Josh? Oh wait, you're muted. You're muted.
I have the Ravens winning 34-20.
Damn. Okay. I don't like this. I don't like this. I think honestly, with the way that Steichen has been coaching these games up, I think he really, really, really has a chance to. Um, I think he really has a chance to just come in and I'm gonna say put together a game plan that's going to be very, very frustrating for Baltimore, just to get them away from their game. So I mean, I'm gonna be completely honest. I'm gonna sound like a homer.
It's tough, man, because the same secondary that allowed them to come back 19 points is back on their feet because our secondary is still young.
Yeah,
So that's why I said that.
Yeah, you know what? Indy wins 24-20. I'm calling it now. I don't I know I sound
y'all
crazy.
leave me hanging. Y'all leave me hanging.
Yes.
Yeah.
Let me write this down so I can make some. I gotta make this. Okay, hold on.
Hey.
Not for bragging purposes, but you know.
Hey, so you know what? If we end up winning, you know what you can do with that paper? I need you to put a piece of tape on it, and you're going to have to wear that on your head next week if we end up winning that game.
I'm not. It's not a profile bet or any type of bet. I just need. $21-20. I said 30, 34, 20. Okay.
Yeah,
Nothing,
even Ryan said it's just like the last two games that they played were close, which they were.
Yeah.
And it came down to the wire. So once again, I think they figure it out. Like I said, 24-21. Like I said, I predicted last week was going to be a close game, and it wasn't. I think this one actually is going to end up being a close game just because of the caliber of the team that we're playing with and the history that we have with them. I think we've played them probably this will be the third time we're playing them in the last 4 years. So
yes.
yeah, we're gonna be looking out for some things. But with that being said, guys, it's been another good one, but we about to be out of here. So guys, tell the people where you are, where they can find you on social media, and yeah, all that good stuff. So Josh, where can the people find you on social media?
Well, I start off saying, guys, follow us on YouTube at HorseShoe Mob. And the ones that already follow us, appreciate the support. But Twitter, you find me at official Josh Senior, where I troll Texan fans up until Saturday.
All right. Austin, what about you?
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter at CookieAustin2.
All right. And you can find me on Twitter because we don't call it X at CJ Colts fan. Make sure that you just continue to follow. You'll be seeing articles coming throughout the week. So make sure that you're following us on www.fanbattlesport.com. Leslie says 31-28 Colts. See, like everybody's saying it's a good game. So, or it's going to be a close game also. But it's like I said, you make sure that you're following us, make sure that you're looking out. Other than that, guys, have a great rest of your week. We will see you guys on Sunday. And as always, you know the deal. You know what it is. Sam loves Jalen Ramsey.